very good evening from the Standard Group Center here in the capital, Nairobi. It is the 29th day of May 2014. Many thanks for joining us on KTN Prime.
Our sign language interpreter William Sila at the bottom end of your screen. Stay with us as we bring you the top stories tonight.
Now we begin with the latest from Mandera County, where police have confirmed that 12 people were killed this morning in a retaliatory attack. Residents of the Gunana area at the border between Mandera and Wajir, however, claim that the death toll could be as high as 18. Reports indicate that the morning raid is as a result of the continuing friction between the Gare and the Godia communities. Police have also taken into custody 3 suspects who were allegedly found with hundreds of rounds of ammunition in Wajir soon after that attack. The government has also deployed Kenya Defence Forces soldiers to man 5 major roads in Mandera and Wajir counties where inter-clan violence has escalated.
12 people, including women and children, have been confirmed dead in a retaliatory attack early Thursday morning in Gunana village at the border of Wajir and Mandera County. The violence that started 2 weeks ago is said to have been sparked by a conflict over a 5-kilometer stretch of land that divides the 2 counties.
We are not sure of the exact injuries. We've just been able to confirm the deaths thus far. We're still trying to establish how many people are injured. We've sent 2 ambulances there with what we believe is enough security, and we're keeping our fingers crossed that this does not get any worse than it already is.
On Wednesday, 3 people who are alleged to be from the Gare community were killed at Dandu, which is at the Kenya-Ethiopia border. The killings led to Thursday's attack, where members of that community attacked a neighboring clan in a revenge mission.
Frustration is that if the attacks continue, it gets to a point where the IDP numbers start increasing, because what we're seeing actually is a lot of movement from those peripheral border towns coming into the interior and causing a lot of displacements.
KTN has since established that 3 people have since been arrested in Wajir town with more than 500 rounds of ammunition. 1 is said to have escaped during the arrests. This latest killings bring the number of men, women and children who have been killed as a result of the conflict to over 20 in just 1 month. On the 13th of this month, 3 people were killed at Malbe near Burmayo at the border of Mandera and Wajir. 5 more people were killed 2 days later at Taufik, some 2 kilometers from Ramu town. In that incident, 5 others were seriously injured. 2 more people lost their lives at Gunana on the 16th of this month after an escalation of violence. The 19th of May also saw yet another attack in the region where 3 people were killed at Bolole in Takaba, Mandera West. 3 children are said to have suffered serious injuries. The conflicts between the 2 clans have escalated in cycles since 1984. According to area leaders, the inter-clan conflicts stem from competition for water and pasture. Betty Kialo, KTN.
Let's get more details on this story. We're joined on phone by Ahmed Abdullah. He is the governor of Wajir County. Governor, thank you so much for speaking to us on KTN Prime.
Most welcome, Linda.
Now, the government has deployed Kenya Defence Forces to Wajir and Mandera, and according to Defence Cabinet Secretary, that is Rachel Omamo, she says the soldiers will be given more roles depending on the situation. From where you stand, how is the situation?
The situation is getting pretty bad. Actually, Gunana is a town inside Wajir County, around the border area between Wajir and Mandera. And the attack that we saw today, that killed 12 people on the Wajir side. We don't know if there are any casualties on the other side, because I'm told the policemen who are at that town also tried to repulse the attackers. Was pretty bad in the sense that the militia were using very heavy machinery and equipment, so much so that a lot of the dead, people who are burnt beyond recognition. And there's a worry that now this is going over and above what we're used to, which is, clans fighting with normal guns. now the fear is that this is escalating to something much bigger, and I think the military intervention is in my view, welcome.
Governor, if I heard you correctly, you say that these attacks were carried out by the militia, and you say they had sophisticated weapons. So in other words, these clashes that we've been witnessing between the two clans, what you're saying by your words is that maybe these attacks were carried out by someone else, some other group?
What I'm saying is that now apparently some of these militias are heavily armed, much more sophisticated than we thought, because the equipment that they use today apparently was something so heavy that everything was banned beyond recognition. And these counties border Ethiopia and Somalia, and increasingly the region is getting more and more armed, I think. So we are worried that this is now getting out of hand. I want to clarify, first of all, that the problem, as it started well before the elections, was more of a problem in Mandera County between the Garri and the Degodia. But increasingly, because these two communities, live together in Mandera and also in Wajir, the border towns in Wajir are coming under attack from militia in Mandera. Gunana is a border town. Batalo is a border town. So what seems to be happening is when the Degodias attack the Garres inside Mandera, there's a retaliation now on the Wajir side, and it's getting a bit ugly. And we of course working with the peace elders and everyone, but we need more boots on the ground. We need to secure these border towns. We need to patrol the borders so that militia from either clan
Governor,
do not come and, yeah.
Sorry to cut you short, but you had a meeting today with the county commissioner. What specific decisions did you arrive at in this meeting?
Today's meeting was more to respond to the distress situation in Gunana town, with 12 people killed, another 8 or so injured. We've been able to move those ones. 4 of them are in the theater as I speak to you. One of them is in pretty bad shape. We will be referring him to Nairobi tomorrow. 3 hospitalized, and with their condition is pretty stable. So 11 people in total. 12 actually have lost their lives. So it was more of what do we do to respond, first of all, to the immediate situation, and how do we bolster the security around the border towns. And we've been trying to move policemen from more safer areas to the border towns that are constantly under attack, just to try and get the situation under control. Yeah.
All right, Governor, thank you so much for speaking to us and for letting us know the situation on the ground. We have been speaking to Ahmed Abdullah, Governor Wajir, on the clashes that we have been witnessing in Wajir and Mandera. We're keeping an eye on that story for you. As soon as we get more information on that, we, of course, will let you know, putting in mind that Kenya Defence Forces have now been deployed in the area. Let's bring you back to Nairobi, and the country today held its 12th National Prayer Breakfast, an occasion that brought together leaders from across the political divide. President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto called for peace, unity, and zero tolerance to tribalism and negative ethnicity. Rita Tinina reports on the occasion that saw the president test his vocal cords. Take a look.
It was the country's 12th National Prayer Breakfast, the second under the Jubilee administration. Politicians from across the political divide, members of the executive, the judiciary, diplomatic corps, corporate sector, and religious leaders gathered at the Safari Park Hotel.
We do pray for peace. We pray for peace in our country.
Almighty God, give us heavenly powers, strength and unity, so that we may fight terrorism.
Calls for peace, unity, and a renewed fight against vices such as tribalism and corruption dominated the prayer breakfast.
There is a road of unity, of integrity, of sacrifice, of working together that will take us to prosperity.
Let's see an end to negative ethnicity. Let's see an end to hate speech.
The guest speaker during this year's National Prayer Breakfast, whose theme was Doing Things Right, was former U.S. Ambassador to Kenya, Scott Gratian.
No one can give us integrity. We must live it. No one can take our integrity. We must give it. Similarly, when we have integrity, nothing else matters.
The president and his deputy had a challenge to other leaders in the country.
Those of us in government leadership must govern with fairness and equity. And those entrusted with the leadership of the opposition must do so with responsibility.
Let's see more of leaders working in partnership, consulting, discussing, instead of shouting at each other.
The prayer breakfast was not without some light moments.
I asked around there whether any one of those people sitting there did not go to Sunday school. And I asked the president whether he can sing for us a song, which the one he learned in Sunday school.
I'm wondering whether to attend next year. This guy always puts me on the spot.
The president did not disappoint.
Okay, let's do it. Blessed assurance.
Yes.
Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine.
Uhuru Kenyatta led those gathered here in singing a hymn.
Praising my Savior.
Political differences aside, leaders were united in prayer as the country came together in thanksgiving and prayer for the 12th year running. And the theme of this year's National Prayer Breakfast perhaps provides a challenge not just for the leaders but all Kenyans as well. Just how to do things right and do the right things. Rita Tinina, KTN, at the Safari Park Hotel.
I say the president should stick to his day job. Now, the Webuye District Hospital became the center of attraction after a mother delivered conjoined twins weighing 6 kilograms. The rare occurrence happened to 30-year-old Christine Sita, who was expecting her 5th child. As KTN's Western Kenya reporter Francis Otomo now reports, the female twins are on their way to the Kenyatta National Hospital for surgery to separate them.
It is race against time here at the Webuye District Hospital. A race to save the lives of conjoined twins, popularly referred to as Siamese twins. 30-year-old Christine Sitawa of Milo Village in Bungoma delivered the babies through cesarean procedure on Wednesday at exactly 4:20 p.m.
Jana saa 10:20 tuliweza kupokea watoto kutoka theater. Mama yake alifanyiwa upasuaji. Watoto wote ni wasichana na wako na walipaa wote kilo 6.
The female twins born weighing 6 kilograms have been kept under specialized care since then, and it was just a matter of hours before they are flown to Kenyatta National Hospital for focused care.
Hawataweza kupata usaidizi sana. Inatakikana wapelekwe Kenyatta National Hospital ndio wakaweze kupata usaidizi.
Medics say the twins who were joined from the chest to the abdomen could be sharing cardiovascular system, the intestines, including other critical organs, and those will require intensive care. Doctors though exude confidence that the two will survive.
Wanahitaji specialized management, which is operation, surgical intervention, ili waweze kuwa separate. Lakini sasa itategemea na kiwango ya hiyo kushikana ambayo daktari wakubwa wenye wako Nairobi, Kenyatta National Hospital, wataweza kuamua.
When KTN visited the facility, we found Mama Sitawa in stable condition and hoping for the best. Sitawa says her pregnancy was very normal and she has never used any drug that could have interfered with her babies before birth. And for her, this remains a shocker.
Nilishituka sana kwa sababu sio kitu yenye nimewahi ona.
The hospital is now recording high number of visitors flocking to see the babies. Siamese twins is an uncommon occurrence and it is estimated to occur in 1 out of 200,000 births in the world. According to medical reports, the occurrences have been witnessed mainly in Southwest Asia and some parts of Africa. Francis Ontomwa, KTN, at the Webuye District Hospital, Bungoma.
We wish them all the best. Let's stay with health matters. And a strange disease that seems to have afflicted part of Narumoru sub-county in Nyeri has residents of that area worried. The residents are waiting anxiously for results of tests done on samples taken from 40 students affected by the disease. The affected students of Karichuta Primary School first complained of abdominal pains and yellowing of the eyes.
Residents of Narumoru sub-county in Keni East are a baffled lot following what looks like an outbreak of a mysterious disease that has seen more than 40 pupils of Karichuta Primary School affected. The symptoms that have manifested themselves in the affected students include abdominal pains, yellow eyes, and yellow urine. Worried parents flocked to the school seeking answers from the school administration.
Macho yake yero na hata mikono. Yeye akatumwa na nyuki. Na mimi nikaeleza daktari mtoto wangu anakojoa makojoa ya yero.
Walipata kwamba wanafunzi 44 wana ugonjwa unaoitwa ambao walitambua akasema unaitwa jaundice.
According to the area member of County Assembly, Marete Ringiru, the residents suspect that the ailment might have been spread by a group of potato workers who had visited the area, but this is yet to be ascertained.
Mwezi wa 3 wa 4 katika eneo hili la Karichuta ama Kiamadhaga na Narumoru kwa jumla, vijana wengi utembea pande za Moro, Ronguruoni, Kiringet. Kwa vile hapa huwa viazi vinapungua.
A team of medics that visited the school took samples, and while initial fears were that the disease might have been hepatitis A, the acting county director of health, David Ndego, could not conclusively confirm this, but said that initial tests proved that there was indeed a problem with the liver. The Nyeri executive in charge of health, Dr. Charles Githenji, told KTN by way of phone from Mombasa that the symptoms that included fever, abdominal pains, diarrhea and jaundice had clinically pointed to hepatitis A, as tests had ruled out the possibility of hepatitis B. They have, however, ordered for more specialized kits to retest for hepatitis A again this afternoon.
We screened them for hepatitis A and hepatitis B. So far, the results have come out negative. The only positive result we are getting is their liver enzyme is slightly elevated. That shows that the kids could have encountered a virus or something which could have caused the liver function test to be elevated.
First batch of students exhibited the symptoms. Fears were rife that it could have been food poisoning, but that too was ruled out.
On the feeding program, we have no feeding program in the Karichuta Primary School, and therefore anything that is talked about what poisoning and aflatoxin, it is not here.
So we took the flour for baking porridge, the maize flour, the beans. We have taken them to Wambogo Public Health Lab, where they are being analyzed for any issues of aflatoxins.
The member of County Assembly, however, pointed an accusing finger at the health department for what he termed as a slow response. Some parents want the day school closed and the children sent home, with many fearing that the affected children might spread the disease to their siblings at home. Carol Der for KTN in Keni, Nyeri.
Now, yesterday, KTN Prime, we revealed that 1 million people dropped out of school in 2013 alone. Tonight, KTN's Joy Doreen Bira reports from the Majengo settlement here in Nairobi, where children have never ever set foot in a classroom and have never enrolled for formal education.
From the Kamkunji informal settlements, it took us over 2 hours to gather these mothers and their children at Majengo Child Survival Field and into this temporary structure that doubles as both a church and social hall. It was a spirited effort to encourage them to enroll their children in school, an effort by this strong woman and head teacher of Heshima Primary School.
I decided to tell the parents to come here, that I sensitize them with the aid of the community workers, and especially some of the parents who've been working closely at school level, and they are the ones who told me they are going to mobilize, bring the parents, we talk to them and tell them the importance of education.
Teresa Mune, a class 7 dropout and mother of 4, would like to see her children go to school. But despite Heshima Primary School being just a walking distance from their residential structures, Teresa and other mothers have been staying home with their children.
Sasa venye wamegrow, mimi nimejaribu venye naweza, nimeshindwa. Hiyo faida kidogo napata kwa kahawa, nalipa nyumba, watoto wanakula, tunakaa.
Some parents admit they cannot afford the school material required for their children to attend school.
Wote hawako shule, wako nyumbani. Na sikupenda kwangu, nimejaribu watoto wangu waende shule, nimekosa uwezo wa vile naweza ingiza shule.
Kulingana na ile mapato napata, haitosheleshi hata school uniform na vile mtoto anaweza soma.
The minors in Majengo open up on why they've been denied formal education.
Pesa anapata mshahara kidogo kwa sababu nakosa kunilipia school fees.
Ni mamangu na babangu alikosana. Babangu akatuchukua akatupeleka Meru, fanya alitupeleka Meru. Tukaenda tukasoma class 6 na sistangu class 5. Vile tulifika, wakatufukuza akasema tukuje huku. Vile tulikuja, tukaambia babangu atubaie nguo, akasema hizi ona pesa.
Heshima Primary School educates 580 pupils. Their meals are catered for by World Food Program to help keep the children in school.
I think the government does not mind so much about children having uniform or not. Even as teachers, we welcome them. We need the minds, the bodies and the mind.
The saying, educate a child and educate a nation, might not exactly have true meaning if most of the children in slums do not have access to education. Now, the head teacher at Heshima Primary School says that if only there could be well-wishers to be able to donate scholastic materials, she has the space to educate most of these children who are unable to pay their school fees. Joy Doreen Bira, KTN.
Appalling statistics, and it's shocking. This is happening in the capital, Nairobi.
Indeed, and that forms the basis of our big question tonight. We're asking you, should parents who fail to take their children to school be prosecuted?
Well, tell us what you think. SMS your yes or no opinion to the number 22155. You can join the conversation on Twitter as well. Ben_Kitili at Linda Ogutu and at KTN Kenya.
Indeed, we'd love to know what you think, putting in mind that some children have never set foot in classes. Stay with KTN. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the program. This is KTN Prime.
Now, the first United Nations Environment Assembly is expected to convene in Nairobi next month. The assembly, to be led by the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, will address environmental sustainability and other concerns over rising environmental crimes. KTN's Ian Wafula has the details.
The executive director of the United Nations Environment Program came bearing good news, not only for the country, but also for his organization. Since its establishment 42 years ago, doubts emerged as to whether the organization would be able to address environmental issues that had become more challenging and complex. But now UNEP is getting more teeth thanks to a UN General Assembly resolution giving it additional members and a bigger voice.
For the first time this year here in Nairobi, the world will have a new governance platform referred to as the United Nations Environment Assembly of UNEP. Every member state represented in the General Assembly of the United Nations is now automatically represented in this environmental governance body.
The UN Environment Assembly is expected to convene from the 23rd to the 27th of June. The UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon will be among the more than 1,200 participants expected in the country.
We will assemble Chief Justices, Attorneys General, Prosecutors General, Auditors General in a special symposium on the environmental rule of law. We also have a second symposium that will take place in Gigiri in June, that is on the financing of the green economy.
I have been in contact with every part of our government, from our security services to our protocol services at the airport to the hotels that will host these delegates, and I have gotten very strong feedback on just how prepared we are, how ready we are to roll out the carpet.
Crucial matters such as illegal trade in wildlife will be top of the convention's agenda, addressing the escalation of poaching, among other environmental crimes. The Assembly will also discuss the future of UNEP for the next decades. As the United Nations Environment Assembly convenes in Nairobi at a time when security has been a major concern, it could be a major step in countering travel advisories issued against the country and also help build confidence in the security levels within the country. Ian Wafula, KTN.
Students at the Nakuru-based Rift Valley Institute of Science and Technology engaged police in running battles today after reports that one of their colleagues was raped and beaten by unknown assailants late last night. The irate students blocked the busy Nakuru-Eldoret highway, demanding justice for their assaulted colleague. They say that most of them had been attacked and robbed of valuables at the notorious 2-kilometer stretch connecting to the highway. The police were forced to lob tear gas canisters and fire live bullets in the air to disperse the students who blocked the road for over 30 minutes. The Nakuru OCPD Bernard Kioko, who was leading the anti-riot team, said that he had arrested them more than 40 students following the demonstration. The doctors attending to the rape victim at the Medihill Hospital, however, say that the girl was out of danger and was responding well to medication.
Barabara hii pia ni mbaya. Isipokuwa nimesikia ni first year, najui hapa ni mbaya. Hiyo bridge imekuwa mbaya. Saa moja, saa mbili hapo kupita hapo ni mbaya.
You're watching KTN Prime. Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's bring in Bonnie Tunya, who has details of the day's business news. Bonnie, if you can hear me, Nakumatt are doing very well. I understand they're now in Tanzania.
Nakumatt is spreading their wings, but also there's complaint that overregulation is hurting the manufacturing industry. But then there's a small matter of Dr. Dre becoming a billionaire. All that in business.
You're watching KTN Prime.
My name is Bonnie Tunya. This is business. Kenya's manufacturing sector has been held back over the years. And here's why. Now, speaking exclusively to KTN Business, Manu Chandaria, who's a chairman of Comcraft Group, says overregulation is one such area holding back the sector. The billionaire philanthropist spoke to Adelaide Changole.
You know, today you go to the city council. There are 1,800 laws to make you what you can do and what you cannot do. It's not possible. They can catch you anywhere.
The statement by Manu Chandaria, a renowned industrialist in Kenya, best explains the predicament of Kenya's business environment that continues to inhibit private sector growth. According to him, time has come for government, both at the national and county levels, to rethink their strategies in dealing with investors.
Let's not tell every Kenyan that you are a thief. There are thieves, catch them. But don't make everybody pay for it. We need to create this all-enabling environment for persons.
However, this feat is not only for the government. The onus is also on the Kenyan people to rethink economic development.
And we have now started understanding that government cannot do everything. We as public must be participant in resolving our own problems.
With more investments in the private sector, Manu Chandaria says, basic Kenyan problems like unemployment can be dealt with, putting the country on the path to achieving industrialized nation status in 16 years.
We might not be able to make exactly what France can, what China can make, but we can make things.
For the youth and women in the country, the philanthropist says, they must take full advantage of opportunities available to invest in growing the Kenyan economy.
You got skills, you got money, which might not be enough. You have got market. The government agreed that the small sector would give 25% of their goods, small sector.
Adelaide Changole, KTN Business.
Following approval of Nakumatt's bid to acquire 3 ShopRite outlets in Tanzania, the Fair Trade Competition Commission, now the retailer now says the process of opening business has kicked off. Speaking to KTN Business on phone, Nakumatt's spokesperson Alfred Nganga revealed that the retailer is in the process of applying for trading licenses for the 3 outlets in Arusha and Dar es Salaam. Once the documents are in place, they will embark on opening shop, though the decision of which outlets to open first are yet to be made. Listed oil marketing firm Kenol Kobil has had a rough past. From a botched acquisition of staff layoffs, the firm lost its top position in the industry, settling in at third place in a market characterized by cutthroat competition. But with a new CEO and a strategy in place, the company says it is charting its way back to the top. Here's KTN's Joseph Bonyo.
For years, Kenol Kobil was the undisputed market leader in the oil industry. This feat was equally matched with its profits and dividends to shareholders. However, in 2011, the first signs of its financial strains began to show, culminating in a 6 billion loss in the year 2012. The challenges also saw the company make its first management changes in as many years, as David Ohana took over from chairman and group CEO Jacob Segman. A year later, the company says it's on a firm course to take back its previous market position.
Now, after I took over, the main focus after the major loss we had in 2013 is to stabilize the company, stabilize the earnings, and that's what I'm focusing on with my management team and with the great help of my board of directors.
According to the Petroleum Institute of East Africa, Kenol Kobil currently ranks third in market share at 14.7% after market leader Total Kenya and Vivo Energy respectively. But according to Hana, the firm is surreptitiously gaining track of its lost market under a new strategy.
We focused on the retail, we focused on gas, lubricants, the LPG, and the non-fuel.
With close to 50 years of market presence in Kenya, the oil firm had also acquired a number of assets as well as muting an entry to real estate as part of building its portfolio. However, the listed marketer now says it will be forced to offload some of these assets.
We want to benefit out of it, sell land that doesn't really produce margin and reduce your financing cost. And that's what we are doing. That's what we did a lot in the first quarter.
Currently, there are over 80 oil marketing firms operating in the country. This has made competition even stiffer. But according to Kenol Kobil, they are relying on their strong presence of over 100 service stations across the country to recover the lost market. Additionally, the marketer says it is no longer looking for a suitor, but a strategic partner.
And we are taking it back to where it was. So the issue that there is a lot of interest, yes. The issue that we are not busy dealing with it now, it's also a fact.
Joseph Bonyo, KTN Business Today.
Finally, Apple announced today it will buy Beats Electronics for $3 billion. News of the deal broke nearly 3 weeks ago, but it was reportedly delayed. Now, the original price was said to be $3.2 billion. Beats co-founder Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre will join Apple as in top management. It's unclear what their specific responsibility will be, but the deal is for $2.6 billion, up from another $400 million that will vest over time. Apple said in a statement that Apple's largest acquisition ever and is expected to close by the end of fiscal year 2014. With the purchase of Apple, will get Beats audio accessories businesses, which includes a line of pricey headphones. Apple will continue selling Beats products under the Beats brand. Beats Music CEO Ian Rogers will report to Eddie Q, the vice president at the Apple charge of iTunes. Right, from Beats, let's look at how your money is working for you with a look at how the shilling fared today, edging closer to the 88 shilling mark. But here's more on the financial market review. On the day that the Kenyan shilling gained a bit of ground against the dollar, closing at 87.89, there is yet hope. My name is Boni Tunya. Good night.
You're watching KTN Prime. Thank you for staying with us. Let's recap our top story all the way from Mandera County, where police have confirmed that 12 people were killed this morning in a retaliatory attack. Residents of Gunana area at the border between Mandera and Wajir, however, claim that the death toll could be as high as 18. Reports indicate that the morning raid is as a result of continuing friction between the Gare and Degodia communities. Police have also taken into custody 3 suspects who were allegedly found with hundreds of rounds of ammunition in Wajir soon after that attack. The government has also deployed KDF soldiers to man 5 major roads in Mandera and Wajir counties where interclan violence has escalated.
Now, they say necessity is the mother of invention, but that is what inspired one man from Mandera County who decided to turn plastic waste into something useful.
The 48-year-old technician says he can produce diesel, kerosene, and even gasoline. Carol Derry has the details.
Environmentalists have been sounding an alarm over plastic waste that has become a nuisance at the very least and hazardous to the health of both people and animals. But if the invention of 48-year-old Michael Thenge is anything to go by, then the solution to dealing with the plastic menace is just around the bend. From filthy discarded plastic bags and bottles strewn all over, this teacher at the Dongoma Children's Home burns the materials in a specialized way, and the end result, different kinds of fuel are produced.
The machine inafanya kazi na temperature control.
A kilogram of plastic waste generates a liter of fuel, but the secret which Thenge will not divulge easily lies with the temperature control.
Hizo degrees sometimes ninaficha sababu hiyo ndio uganga yangu.
He has invented a machine that produces 1,000 liters, for which he sells a liter for 80 shillings. Thenge, who has no university degree except for a certificate in general fittings from a Machakos-based technical institute, dreams big.
Nilikuwa ninafikiri ninaweza tengeneza hii mafuta alafu ni generate stima niuzie Kenya Power.
We ask him just what the fuel is used for.
Hii mafuta ya kutoka kwa plastic ni mafuta tumeifanyia utafiti, ikaenda mpaka kwa Kenya Bureau of Standard wakacertify ni mafuta mzuri, na imefanya kazi balibali kwa kupikia, kwa stove za kupikia imefanya vizuri, kwa posho mill, power saw, hata pia gari inaendesha gari.
While many marvel at the process through which Thenge transforms plastic waste into diesel, kerosene, or even gasoline, he is quick to point out that he only applies basic science that is taught in secondary schools.
Ni physics na chemistry ya form 3. Na process ni hile tu ya fraction distillation. Alafu sasa unaongeza ujuzi kidogo. Unakamua mafuta kutoka kwa hizo marafiki zetu ma plastics.
And while the process is meticulously followed through step by step, first by cleaning the plastics so that impurities do not adulterate the fuel, simple equipment and machinery is used for the process.
Ile wazo niko nalo ni kumaliza plastic Kenya, sababu plastic Kenya zimesubua watu na plastic haiwezi kaoza, lakini with my new technology niko na uwezo wa kumaliza plastic kabisa, na ninaifanya with the secondary care, haiwezi karibu environment kwa vyovyote.
He's willing to teach this skill to the youth so that they too can play their part in conserving the environment while making money while at it. This might also be the answer to dealing with the unpredictability of global fuel prices. With the uncertainty of fuel prices, the conversion of plastic waste into fuel could be the best news ever if only this technology could be adopted on a larger scale. Carol Derry for KTN in Nyeri.
For sports, I'm Nicholas Mudimba. Gilbert Kwemoi won Kenya her first gold medal at the ongoing Africa Youth Championships in Gaborone, Botswana. Kwemoi clinched the boys' 1,500 meters race. The championships, however, exposed Kenya's team handlers as most of the country's representatives on the track committed avoidable errors. Players of the financially stricken Premier League side Nairobi City Stars set out during Thursday's training as they demanded their 3-month salary. The players who have not trained for the last 3 days are plotting to abscond the coming Go TV Shield Cup on the Kenyan Premier League matches of unpaid wages. Moses Wahisi reports.
City Stars players reported to their usual training grounds in Kawangware, but did not train since they claim they have not been paid their wages for the last 3 months. Those KTN spoke to off camera challenged the club managers to honor their end of the bargain, and they will resume their duties. Coach Tim Bryant and Chairman Peter Jabuya admitted that the club's financial is not in order.
Makes it extremely difficult. You know, if the players are struggling financially and they're not eating properly because of that, and they have these outside stresses, it's impossible for that not to affect them on the pitch.
But they know this is a club which doesn't have any sponsorship. We have been struggling seriously as the management to make ends meet.
Sitting 14th of the Kenya Premier League table, the Kawangware-based side have been living through its troubles for some time now. However, the side head coach Bright is offering free services, but he remains optimistic that things will change soon.
I'm not looking to jump ship just yet. I just see a lot of potential in the players. I see a lot of potential in the team, and we're nowhere near fulfilling that potential.
City Stars is expected to take Modern Coast Rangers on June 2nd in the GoTV Cup competition before their date with Thika United on Saturday in KPL tie.
Any corporate that may want to identify with a team, we are really appealing that they come and give support to Nairobi City Stars.
This is not the first time players in the Kenyan main league have gone for months without pay. Financial constraints has been a major hurdle for prosperity of teams in the country. For growth, all teams need to be sponsored so as to be able to curb and nurture the talent. Moses Wahesi, KTN Sports.
Moving on now, the Kenyatta National Stadium in Machakos will, for the past few days, be preparing to host one of the most important matches in the Bamburi Super Series. It will be an all-Kenyan affair in the semi-final of this year's Bamburi Rugby Super Series at the Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos. The champions Ndovu, which draws majority of its players from top flight Nakuru, eased through to the semi-finals of the 27-10 win over Balore Chui. They will take on UAP Kifaru in one of the entertaining semi-finals. Nguvu Papa will clash with Balore Chui in the other encounter. The tournament plays a vital role for National 15's team selection, and that is what will fuel the level of competition. Officials from Kenya Rugby Union and the Machakos County inspected the venue on Thursday.
There's this great occasion in regards to rugby again coming to this beautiful stadium. We are again going to showcase a lot of talent, which will mean the top 4 teams featuring top 100 players in this country.
So we have invested heavily, and the reason for this is because we believe there is value in nurturing talent.
Martin Muita, Edwin Smakori from Ndovu, George Mutuku from UAP Kifaru, and Bush Mwale from Nguvu Papa are so far the top scorers with 10 points each. The finals on June 7th will be played at the KRU grounds. Now, for the past 2 World Cup finals, the hopes of the continent have been with the Ghana national team. In the past World Cup in the African soil, Uruguay's Luis Suarez stood in the way of the Black Stars qualifying for the semi-finals. However, they're pooled in Group A, a tough group comprising Germany, Portugal, and the US. And of course, Hassan Jumai is heading to Brazil, and he'll be giving you all the details from the Samba Nation. I'm Nicholas Mudimba. Have yourself a good night.
So tonight we did report of a story here in the capital Nairobi of pupils who have never stepped into a classroom with some shocking figures, and we asked you on the big question: should parents who fail to take their children to school be prosecuted?
Let's take a look at how you polled. 55% of you say yes, 45% of you say no. Felix Anyimbi says parents should do everything to educate their children, and for the poor, let the government help.
John Gidanga says no, free education is no longer free. Most parents cannot afford ambiguous fees charged by rogue school heads.
Ingrid Nabwire says those parents should not be punished before explaining why they're unable to take their children to school. Then a final conclusion can be drawn.
Raphael Ngetich says if they fail intentionally, then prosecute. If not able to, then don't. Treat each case separately.
All right, those are your opinions. We thank you for writing in, for being part of KTN Prime. Remember, Friday briefing is on tomorrow with Betty Kialo. Thank you so much for watching. Sleep well. I'm Linda Ogutu.
My name is Ben Kitili. Thank you for joining us on KTN Prime all through this week. Have a wonderful night. Jeff Konange Live begins shortly.